Mr. Bernard.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, sir. Can you help me with what we discussed?
Okay.
All right. So let's go back to our SQL. So now we'll be dealing with how to create databases and how to create tables on SQL. So um, let's start. So I think I already did an intro about this. Some of you have the interface like this. You don't have, you are not seeing this. You're just seeing something like this. So you just come to schemas here. Look at schemas here. Click on schemas so you can see all your databases you've created.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please, are you recording it?
Yes, I'm recording it.
Okay, okay.
So we want to start. Before I start, I want to say something. We want to write codes, obviously. So, and before I start, I want us to, I don't know, some of us will want to maybe follow me as I'm writing it. It might not be effective because in some way you want to be looking at it writing, and if you are dragging us back, it might kind of bring us back. Um, I would just want you to listen and understand what I'm doing. You always have the video, and maybe you want to recreate what I've done, so you can do it. So, the first thing is not everything here that you have here are quotes. Some are just comments. Not everything there are quotes. Some are just comments. I don't know if you can see. Okay, I think we better this way. Not everything here are quotes. Some are just comments. If a statement, look at this, starting with an hash sign, hash sign, it is a comment that can be written in any language, our normal English language, just to tell you what I'm doing with the code I want to write. This is a code. Now, this comment is telling me what I'm doing with my code. So if you are going through my code, you can easily see that, okay, this is what this person is trying to do. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So you can decide to write your code without putting comments. No problem. It will work. So far you're writing the correct code. But what I'm just trying to say is, at some point, if I'm writing the code and I'm putting comments, I would know the meaning of the code I'm writing. Look at this now. I want to create a database called pet. Look at it. I want to create a database called pet. So what is the code to create that database? The code is create database, and I'll write the name of the database, pet. So that is what I'm trying to say. So I wrote out something. So in case you want to create another thing another time, and you want to reference what you've done before, you can always come back here and say, okay, I think I created a database one time like that. Let me go and see the code I used. So you can easily just read through the comments and see that, okay, this is the code I used in creating the database. I already have the database here already. But what I will do is I will delete it. I've deleted it. I've deleted it. So now, what is the next thing I want to do? What is the next thing I want to do? I'm coming. Why is this paste still here? I'm coming. I want to drop it. All right. Okay. So now I think I've started. Let me create a new SQL sheet so you understand what I'm trying to do. Okay. So now, the first thing I want to do, look at it. I want to create a database called pets. I want to create a database called pets. If I want to run it, you see this Shazam sign, these two things. Those are the two things we use in running. Those are the two things we use in running. I will explain the difference between the two for you. Why we are writing our codes. I will explain the difference between the two. So now, these things here, these are the list of all the database I have before. All the database I have before. These are the list of all the database I have on this MySQL before. So I want to add pets to all this. Pet. I want to add it to all this. So what do I do? Someone is entering the class. I'm coming. I want to add pets to that database. If I run it, why is it telling me database already exists? Let's change the name. Let's change it to pets. So it has created it. It has created it. The database is called pets. But I'm not seeing it here. Why are we not seeing it here? You just have to right click and you refresh. If you right click and refresh, we'll see it. This is it here. Pet. Pet. So now, while we are doing this, the next thing,
But
the
that
next
pet,
thing,
sir, that pet is already is there. The previous one that was telling
that
you
one,
already exists. I thought you deleted it before.
I deleted it. I don't know what was happening. I dropped it. Oh, I dropped it. So let's just continue. Let's ignore that. Let's assume it is not there. Let's ignore it. But if you want to drop, we'll talk about dropping all of this later. So now, um, the next thing I want to do now, but the one I just created is the one in plural form, pets. Look at it here, pets. Now, what I want to do is that inside this database, I want to load tables inside. I want to load like 4 tables inside that database. So every other code I'll be writing now is how to create a table. Now we know how to create a database. The statement to create a database is what? Create database, then pets, then the name of the database, right? So if I wanted to create a database called Bernard, I would have said create database Bernard, and I'll end with what? A semicolon. This semicolon means this is the end of this code. If I continue on the next line and I don't put this semicolon, it means that is the continuation of my code. The end of your code must end with what? A semicolon. So that is it. So the next thing I want to do now is that I want to start creating tables inside that pet database I created. So the first thing I need to do is amidst all these databases that I have here, I must come here and click on that pet that I created and set it as default schema. I will set it as default schema. Once I set it as default schema, what I'm trying to say is that I'm telling SQL that this is the database I want to work with. This is the database I want to work with. I think someone wants to enter.
So how do you set it as default schema?
Just right click on that particular database and you see set as default schema here. So once you set as default schema, you will see that it is already what? It is already highlighted here, pets. So any other thing I want to do now is going to be affecting this pets database. I hope you understand. It's going to be affecting this pets database. Anything I want to write henceforth. So if I want to do it for another database that is not this pet, I'll go to that database and I'll set that one as a default schema. I know why I'm taking my time to explain all of this. so that at the end of the day, when you are not getting it, or maybe your data is loading into another database, you know the reason why it is doing that. So the next thing is I want to create a table. I want to create a table. Now I want to create a table called, instead of having all of this, what is this? Yeah. Now if you look at this, I want to create a table called pet sale. Pet sale. So now the name of the table, create table, then I wrote pet sale. Don't forget, in our introductory class I already told you the format, but I will explain this now. Create table, pet sale. Pet sale is the name of our table. Pet sale is the name of our table. These ones here, ID, pet, sales price, profit, and sale date. Those are the columns. ID, pet, sales price, profit, and the sale date. Those are the columns inside that table. So now, how do I create it? What is it compulsory that I align everything like this? No. I can try to write everything on a straight line, so that it's just for you to comprehend what I'm trying to do. That is why it is arranged like this. So now, create table. What is the name of the table you want to create? When I wanted to create database, I said create database and I wrote the name of the database. If I want to create a table, I'll say create table and I write the name of the table. But because our table has what are the entities that a table has, the columns, right? So now I'll open a bracket and I'll input the columns. I'll input the columns that are inside my table. The first column inside this table, pet sale table, is the ID. I'll come back and explain all of this. The first thing, the first column that is inside is ID. After writing the first column, I'll put a comma. The second thing, the second column there is what? Pet. After writing the pet, I'll put a comma. The third thing is the sale price. After writing the sale price, I'll put what? A comma. The next thing there is the profit. Then after that is the sale date. Sorry, kindly give me like a minute or two. Just a minute. I'm coming. So I'm back. Hope you can hear me now. Hope you can hear me. Hello.
Yes, we can.
Yes, yes, I can
Yes,
hear
Okay.
yes,
you.
you can.
All right. Sorry. I just wanted to. I was trying to get something. Sorry. So now I said we'll create a table called pencil. After creating our table called pencil, then we start inputting all the columns in our table. So if you have 1 million columns, you input it like this. You input those columns like this. Even if you have 1 million columns, start inputting not the values inside the columns. If you want to create a table yourself, you might already be maybe in your mind you're already asking that, can't we just import it the way we used to import in Power BI? We just import our table into our SQL database. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But we need to know this is where we start from. We need to understand how to create a table in our database too. So it's not just only to import the table. This is perpetual. Yes. What's the question?
I saw those additional highlighted words like this
Yes, yes.
ID,
I said
integer.
yes. I said I was coming to that. I said I was coming to that.
Okay,
I was just
okay, okay.
explaining bit by bit.
All
So
right,
now
all right.
I said ID, pet, sale price, profit, sale date. Those are what? Those are the four columns. Those are the four columns. Now let me go to Excel and create something like that. So I want to create something like this. Okay. So let's have, hold on, ID, pet, sale price. Hold on, no. I know you can't see it, but I would increase the profit, save it. So let's assume this is your table. Have you seen it? This is our table. These are the columns of our table. These are the columns. So this is the table. So you can have your ID. You can have one, two. So we can have cat here. Cat is our. Then we have dog here. Sale price we have 20. Here we have 60. The profit I have 10 here. Here I have 5. Okay, coming. So here I have 5. I have 10. The sale date I have 20 slash 01 slash 2023. Here I have let's have the same date. So now look at this table now. This is the table. Now,
So it's not the same day too.
no, let's
You
just this
said
is just for don't worry,
okay.
don't worry. This is just for explanation. So now the data under ID, that is the values under ID, they are what data type?
Numbers.
Numeric.
Sorry, numbers, right?
Numbers, right? And numbers are, can they be decimal points? When they are talking about ID, can ID be decimal points?
No, no, no.
It
No,
can't.
no.
Whole
So
numbers.
that is why we have integer. So this first thing is telling me that this is the data type of that particular column. Do you understand now? Are you getting it? So I'm trying to say we have different types of data types here. So for all numbers, we put it as what? Integer. For all numbers, we put it as integer. So now there's something we call keys. The meaning of not null here, if you notice every other thing here, they have only the data type. It's only this one that has not null. What does it mean? It means that all the value that I'll be inputting, there might be a scenario where maybe this sale price is empty. They didn't input the sale price for dog, which is valid. They didn't input it, and that doesn't mean we can't put it inside our what database. But in a case where the ID is missing, any value, any cell inside the ID column, I've already said it. I've validated my data that nothing should be null under this ID. nothing should be null. That is the reason why I'm putting not null. So while I'm inputting it, if I did not put any value here, it's going to throw an error because I already set my database to have what? A not null. Not null means for every value I want to input inside this id column, it must have a value. Sorry, everything, every cell inside this id column must have a value. It must not be empty. This can have empty cells. This one can have empty cells. This one can have empty cells. This one can have empty cells. But what I'm saying is this one must not have an empty cell. That is the meaning of not null. Do you understand? That is the meaning of not null that I put here. So now, what is the meaning of character? Now we have, if I said characters, you would have said something like, okay, um something like letters, right? Letters. If I say characters. So now we have two types of data types that are involving letters like that. When we are dealing with Excel, we would have used text, right? If it was Excel, we would have used text, something like this. So this number is like an integer. So if it was a normal text, I would have used this one, text here. Look at the text. So now, how will I represent text in SQL? How will I tell this? Because cat and dog, they are text, right? So how will I tell SQL that what I want to input inside that column is a text? Don't forget, your text can also consist of numbers. Do you know that your text can consist of numbers? In some cases, your numbers can act as a text. In some cases. So now, how would I tell SQL that this one here is a text? So we use character, char, and another one called variable character. Variable character. And you'll be listing out the maximum number of what? Characters that you can have inside this particular column. What do I mean? If I put character and I put 30 and I put variable character and I put 32, it's telling me that the maximum number, like now, cat is what? 3 letter words. So it will contain. So now I'm telling it that if the word that I want to put inside this column, if the number of letters inside that word is more than 30, it won't accept it. So here I'm putting like a size. Like, okay, this is the maximum number of words, characters that you can allow. Same for variable character. But what's now the difference between these two? I'll tell you the difference. So now, dog is what? Let's assume I'm using, no, let me use 30. Let me use 5. I think someone wants to ask a question. Mrs. Nkem, sorry, if you want to ask a question, just unmute your mic and ask. So that won't be going on.
Sorry, it was a mistake. Sorry.
Alright, no problem. So now, variable character 5. Let's assume that I said, okay, this pet is a character. And I said the maximum is 5. So if I'm putting something like elephant, elephant is more than a 5 letter word, right? So if I'm putting elephant, it will throw an error because elephant is already more than 5. And I stipulated 5. So if I want to allow my data, that column, to accept elephant, I would have to increase this to like maybe 20 or so. So what is the difference between character and variable character? So now it is based on size. So if I said character 5, even if what you are putting here is cat, it is storing it as, in terms of size now. In terms of size, let's assume that it will take 3 MB to store 5 letter word. 3 MB to store a 5 letter word. And I'm inputting a 3, so, okay, wait. Let's assume it will take 5 MB to store a 5 letter word. 5 MB to store a 5 letter word. So to store a 3 letter word, how many MB will it take?
3.
3, thank you. So now, if I'm using variable character and I'm storing cat, the way it will store it, it will still store it with 5 MB. it will put space, that is two more spaces, so that everything is going to be what? 5 MB. Not like it's going to put space in front of Kato, but it's just going to accommodate it in such a way that it is still 5 MB, because you already said it is 5. But if I said variable character now is that, okay, so far I'm not even using up to the number of characters I stipulated here. It's going to manage my size. So if I'm using 3 characters, just like this one, it's going to store for only 3 MB. I don't know if you are getting it now.
Yes.
Should I explain again what I just said?
No.
I should continue.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So now, this is not changing. Even if I'm putting 100 here and I'm putting only one letter inside, it's still going to be 100. But if I'm putting one here and I'm putting 100 here and I'm inputting a one letter word, it's going to store as just a one letter word. It won't assume the whole 100. Do you understand? So that is the difference. So now let's assume that our sale price has decimals. So now, how do I configure this? This is not more an integer, right? If this is an integer, these are just whole numbers. Integers are whole numbers. So either positive or negative. So now, this is not an integer. This is what? Hello,
Decimal.
decimal, thank you. So now, how do I input decimal on my SQL? So look at this. I've talked about character, right? So here they already put that the maximum number of we can use is what? 20. So I can input as many word as I want. So far it is not more than 20 letter word. No problem. So if you want to manage size, it would have been easier to use a variable character. So we can decide to use a variable character too. Can you see it is there? If you notice, these are painted blue and others they are painted black. Why? For each of these ones that I'm writing here, it is because they are already functions inside the SQL system. Variable character is a function. Decimal is a function. Date is a function. So that's the reason why we have this. Sorry. Oh, what is wrong with this thing? Hold on, I'm coming. I dey species side. I dey class. I dey teach. Today na our off. How far? Just download then. Why you dey call me?
I'll tell this one day.
Sorry, am I the only one that is not hearing anything?
Eh?
He's on
He told
He
mute.
us
said
to
he's
load it.
coming. He said he's coming.
Okay.
Why? I go call you back. Gist. I dey class. So that's me. Sorry. Sorry. So, as I was saying, so I've changed this to variable character. Don't forget, I have not run this. If I run it, no problem. I have not run this. So if I had run it, it would have gone. But I'm still writing, right? So now, this is decimal. Now I have sale price. Don't forget, my sale price is in decimal format. So what is the meaning of this 6 and 2? 6 means, this 6, the first one here, it means the highest number you can have before the decimal point. That is Six letters, that's hundreds of thousands, right? Six, that is what I'm trying to say here is that, oh god, my mouse is doing somehow. What I'm trying to say there is that, look at this. This has two numbers before the decimal point. That is 2 and 0. This has one, two, three, four, five. This has 5 before the decimal point. So that is like what I'm trying to stipulate inside that SQL statement, that the maximum that I want to have before the decimal is 6. And I wrote 6 comma 2. That is the number that I want to have after the decimal. That is how many decimal places is also 2. Before the decimal, I wrote 6. That is I can have 6. So if it is in millions, it will not go again. That will stop in thousands. So if it is entering millions, it will not go. So I'm putting a limit to it. That is why we said SQL is very structured. So now, if I have this 6 comma 2, what I'm saying is that for all the sales price that will be inputted inside that sales price column, the highest number, I'm not saying it is compulsory that it is 6, the highest number, that is by the time I count the characters, the highest I can have is 6. And how many decimal places? 2 decimal places. Same thing for the profit column too. And the sale date, it must be in a date format. The sale date must be in a date format. Once I'm done, I can run. Yes. Once I'm done, I can run. And immediately I ran it. If you notice, when I ran the first one, that was why I have the first screen here. When I ran, I've run 2 times now. I've run this code 2 times. This was the first one. That's the first screen here. This is for the second one that I ran. This is it here. Let me see if I can increase this. Sorry. So now, this is it here. This is the first one I ran, and it's showing green. This is the second one I ran, and it's also showing green. If it's showing green, it means it has gone. If it's showing red, it means what you are writing is wrong. So you need to find where you have a problem in your code and you debug. You change it. You have to look for the error because it will not go. That is why this is different.
Excuse me, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to can you repeat what you said on that sales price, the decimal 6 and 2? What does that signify?
Okay, now if I have 50,000, that's how many characters?
It's 5.
5. So if I don't want all the prices there to be above 99,000, because 99,000 is the least one that I can have, right?
Okay.
The next one is
Okay.
going to be 100,000, right? So I'll put 5 here.
Mm.
That is, I don't want them to exceed that amount.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Now with 6 now, it
Yes,
means
yes.
that I can't have millions.
Mm.
Do you understand? I
It
can
will
have
end
anything.
in hundreds of thousands.
Thank you. It will end in hundreds of thousands. And this is telling us the decimal point. The 2 there is telling us the decimal point. That is how many decimals.
Okay, they are just separated with a comma. That means they must
They
be
are just
together.
separated. Yes. They are just separated. That is 6 is for the number before the decimal and 2 is for the number after the decimal. So now this
Okay.
is where the
Thank you.
wala is. Because you see when you start you see a lot of red. You start getting red. You see green, you see red. That doesn't mean you now start looking for where the problem is. And once you can find the problem and you run again, it will work. It will work. It will work. But the problem can be as simple as a comma or a space. Because you are writing. Look at what I wrote here now. After writing ID integer not null, I put a comma. Some people will not put this comma and the next thing they will write is pet variable character 20. Then they will put a comma, then they will run. They will run, and the funniest thing is they will get an error. Obviously. Let me run this. Let me run this. Can you see I'm having a red? Because it's not going. Now, assume this is looking at it normally. You might not really depict that the error you are having is from a comma.
But the thing is already showing us a red sign on number 6.
Yes, that's another thing. Because it's telling you that okay, you have a statement before that one. That is, some cases it will show you this red sign. That what is happening? You are giving me something that I don't want. So you can easily see that okay, this is where now looking at this now, looking at this. Number 6 is not even the problem. The problem is from number 5. Do you understand? So if I put a comma here now,
Yes.
this has gone. Why is it like that? It's thinking, okay, because there is no comma, this is still the continuation of what? Number 5. But this is just the end of number 5. That is why it is putting the error sign here. So please and please, some people it might just be this comma here that will cause the problem. They will just put space, they will not put comma. They will put space, they will not put comma. So please and please, those things are very, very compulsory. So and you might not quickly see it. I know I'll be getting a lot of calls this week. I know. So
Sorry, so the red one will show you before the line. If it's the red is showing on the 7, that means check the 6.
it does not really work that way. Your problem might be from this point here,
Okay.
but your red sign will
Sorry,
be showing you.
sorry, Mr. Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Like when you did the normal on line 7, when you remove that comma between 6
Yes,
and 2, it
yes,
flagged 7 as default.
yes.
If you do it again, you see.
Yes, I understand what you just said. That's why I said there are some cases that what is with flag, where the error is here. But what is with flag, it will flag this for here. What it's telling you is that this whole statement has an error. Because this is a statement. Do you understand? You know, I said I can write everything here. I can write it on a straight line and it will still go. So far, I'm putting the comma where the comma is supposed to be. So please and please, I've created the table. Now, can we see our table? Let's open this text. I don't know. Now, this table here does not have this arrow sign. It means the table is not yet showing. So I can just right click and refresh. Once I refresh,
Sorry, why do you have that comma? I mean, that's closing
semicolon.
bracket and at number 10.
Yes. Okay, now when I wanted to start, I started with a bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to end it, I went with a bracket. And I said at the end of each statement
Okay.
will end with what? A semicolon.
Okay.
Can it not
Okay.
be on line, or it must be on a different line altogether?
It can be on the same line. I already said it. I can decide to put this here. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So now, this table that I created, pet sale, this pet sale table that I created, I can see it here too. Have you seen it? Pet sale is already here. It's already here. I don't know. This thing is small. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't think there's a way I can enlarge this. But it's here already. Pet sale. So now, what if I want to create another table? I want to create another table called pet. But here I will be kind of fast. I want to create another table called pet. Now, I want to create another table inside that same database that we created. So I know I said we can have a lot of tables inside, right? So I want to create another table called pet. Now that pet table now will have how many columns? Mrs. Anu, how many columns will this pet table have?
3.
3, thank you. So I have the ID, I have the animal, and I have the quantity. I don't need to go over all of this again. I already know you understand. So now, once I run, the last error here, this is where you'll be getting all your errors. If you're having an error or if it's your code is flowing, you will know from here. So now, the last thing I have here is an error. So let me run. If I run, yeah, can you say I have a green sign now? It means it has gone. It has gone like that. I've created a table like that. So now, to the next thing that I want to do. Please, are you understanding what I'm doing?
Yes.
Yes. Please understand it. So now, what I want to do now is that I want to start inserting values inside the first table I created. You know, we just created the columns, right? We didn't insert any value inside. We created the columns. ID, pair, sales price, profit, sale date. It's as good as having something like this. Okay, let me bring out the table for you first.
Please, what does this asterisk after select represent?
We are still coming there, sir. We are still coming there. I think I already told you
Multiply.
last class. No, 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 it's not multiplier. I would explain. I would
He's
explain.
selecting
But
all.
thank you, selecting all. Now let me just this is our first sale table. Look at our first sale table, right? When we created it, we had how many columns? One, two, three, four, five. Now, what I'm saying is that I said select everything from pet sale. That is everything that I created inside that pet sale table. I want you to select it for me. I want to see it. That is the meaning of that select star. Star means everything here. Yes, star means what? Everything. So select everything. And what are those things? ID, pet, sale price, profit, and sale date. Do you understand now? So those are the columns. Because I've not inputted any
Yeah,
value in
yeah.
here. So it's not showing anything. It's just showing the header. So now I want to input values inside. How do I insert values? How do I insert values? I'm taking my time to explain all of this. So please and please. How do I insert values inside this? So this is the statement to insert. Insert into pet sale because I'm inserting into what? The pet sale table, right? So I'm saying insert into pet sale, then values. Then what? Values. So each of these brackets that I have is representing a row. The first thing there is an ID, right? So I'm saying ID is what? One.
Yeah.
The next thing there is what? The pet. The pet there is what? Cat. The next thing there is what? The sale price. The sale price is what? 450.99. The next thing here is what? 100, which is the profit, right? So this is the profit. We have 100.47. And the next thing here is what? Dates. And this is the format we use in writing our dates.
Date.
So this is what I will do. Once I'm done with the first row, because this is me writing for the first row. Once I'm done for the first row, I'll put a comma, then I'll start for the second row again. Once I'm done for the second row, I'll put a comma, then I'll write for the third row, fourth row. So if I'm having like 1,000 rows, that's the same thing I'll be doing. I'll be writing till I reach the 1,000th row. Then when I'm done, but because of this, we have only 5 rows.
And go
We
paying
have,
person or
no, 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 no.
So
No, this is just,
is
this is
there no
just,
way of doing it if
I've
we have
answered,
like
I've
maybe
answered
10,000?
I've answered this question already from the beginning. I already said you might already be asking yourself that can't you just be bringing this table the way we used to bring it in on Power BI from Excel? Done. Right? Is it possible? Yes. But we need to know how to create. Bringing it in is not hard. But we need to know how to create, right? Because if you don't know how to create, what if, okay, they need you to enter some data and you don't know how to do it? You know, if it was on Excel, you just go to the cell and you'll be typing what you need inside. But this is different. So now, this is everything I need to know. So now, let's assume that this cat here is missing. There's no cat. That is for the first row. For the first row, there is no pet. The first column is
Yes.
missing. This is what I mean. Let's assume that this is the exact column you are using. You are using to enter your data. And this column is missing. This column, there's nothing inside. There's nothing inside this column. So you can't come to SQL and be putting something inside for them because from your Excel there's nothing. And you're trying to create this particular you're trying to create this particular table on your SQL. Because there is nothing there, the next thing that will come is going to be the profit, right? Right? Because there's nothing inside the sorry, it's going to be the sale price because there's nothing inside that particular point. But what do?
Yes.
You put your double comma. It has to be like this, a double comma, to show that there is nothing. So let's assume that this one too is missing. If this one too is missing, this is what I will have. Because if I don't put anything inside and I do this, if I write this, it's telling me that on the text column, put 100. That is what I'm saying. But if I don't want to do that, I'm saying that okay, for the first column, don't forget the first column is the second one. The first column is the second one. I don't have any value for the second one. Put a comma again. That one has gone like that. For the sale price, I don't have a value. Put comma again. So I already know that I have two values that are missing. So the next one is going to be for the profit, and the last one is going to be for the date.
Okay.
So that's how we undo our missing data while we are inputting our data. While we are doing our data entry in SQL. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So now there's a question that you guys are not asking me. You didn't ask me that why are we having these
Small
values
letter,
inside a quotation? You are not asking me. If you remember on Excel, if you remember on Excel, when you want to input a value on your Power BI, you remember your Power BI when you want to do your calculate function. Maybe you want to calculate for mails, and you do something like calculate. Some of you that use filter, you use calculator filter, then you put your expression where gender is equal to. If you want to write that mail, how do you put it? You know, you put that mail inside what? A quotation, right? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. To
Yes.
show values that are inside, let me go back to my Excel. So to show values that are inside, no, this is our table. Let me move it. So to form a proper table. Look at it here. Yeah, look at it here. So now, you see all these values here. These are values. Eh? They must be represented inside a quotation. If you want to input them, but there is an exception. The exceptions are for numbers. That is, maybe it is an integer or a decimal. Then it's an exception. But in cases where the number is acting as a text, in cases where the number is acting as a text, we put it inside what? A quotation too. I'll come again. Now, look at this. I have cat here. Cat is a text, right? Cat and dog, they are text. So if I'm inputting it inside my SQL, it's going to be inside a quotation. The ID here, the ID here is a number. This one too, decimals. This one too, a decimal. I don't need to put what? I don't need to put a quotation for that. For dates, I'll put a quotation. The only exception are for what? Numbers. And numbers can be integers or decimals. So that is why when I was writing for this, for the first column here, they don't have the quotation. But for these ones, they have the quotation. They are inside that quotation. For the next one and the next one, they are not inside what any quotation. And for the dates, if you notice, all the dates they are inside what a quotation. So if I run this, let me run it. Instead, I have an error in
19.
my SQL syntax. This is where we have issues.
Hmm.
I don't even know where the error might be now. Let's check it. It has gone now. Now, who can kindly tell me where the error is from? I owe you 10 marks. I've seen the error. Can you see it has gone now? It has gone. Now, what did I do?
You added 12.0. You added 0 to that 12.
No, no, no. It's not that.
Okay.
It's not that. If you notice, I already removed the semicolon of this one. Select star from pet. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm still telling SQL that this statement that I want to write is starting from here, which is wrong. So let me put the semicolon here. Are you noticing the cross sign here? Have you seen this
Mm-hmm.
error sign here? Now let me put a semicolon. Once I put a semicolon, can you see? It has gone.
Oh.
So what I'm trying to do there is that I'm telling SQL that okay, this statement which has not ended will continue from all these ones in which it has ended already. I just forgot to put what the
Okay.
semicolon. Do you understand? So now I've run this and it has gone. So if I say I want to see what is inside this pet sale table now, pet sale, pet sale table. If I want to see what is inside, I can just run this. Can you see? I don't know if you can see. Our tables are inside already. Can you see the table? This is our table now. This is our table. This is our table. So I think someone has a question also.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
So if I don't know whether I wasn't following. If we have rows of like 100 rows, will we still enter it like that?
No, I already answered that
Okay.
we are not going to enter it like that. We are just doing
Okay.
this for the sake of knowing how to enter data on on SQL.
Oh, all right.
There are some cases where you want to enter data yourself. Do you know? If it was in Excel now, what would I do? I would just come here, look at the way I enter this one. Everybody can do this, right? But there's no way for you to do something like this with your SQL. I think there is another way you can have a table too. I will show you that later. Something that will bring it out for you in a practical way, but it's still going to instead of but majority of the time you'll be inputting you'll be loading your data from Excel. You have your data in Excel format and you bring it in inside the database straight. That's usually what you'll be doing. So let's continue. So what's the next thing? We have the pet save table. Don't forget we have two tables. We have pet save table and we have pet table. So let's go and put values inside the pet table. Look at the pet table here. Let's go and insert a value inside the pet table. So I want to insert values inside the pet table. The pet table, don't forget, has only three columns. Hold on. The pet table has only three columns: ID, animal, and quantity. ID, animal, and quantity. So what will I do? Insert into pet table, then I'll put the values. The ID is going to be what? An integer. So I don't need to put anything inside what? The quotation. The animal is going to be here. And ID, animal, and what? Quantity. So the quantity is also going to be what? An integer. And I'll run that. Once I run it, can you see I have another game? Once I run that, I can come down. And if I want to see what is inside my pet table, I can say select star from pet. Because the name of my table now is pet. That means it has brought it out from the pet. Select everything. Star means everything. That is all the columns. All the columns, not all the rows now. All the columns. So if it's bringing out all the columns, obviously it's bringing out all the rows too. So if it's bringing out all the values inside the column. So now I will close it with what? A semicolon. Not a colon, no, a semicolon. Then I will run. So I inputted this and it is there already. I inputted this and it is there already. So let me come back to the class and ask if you have any question before we continue. So I'm listening. Any question? Exactly. So since there's no question, let me continue. I think we are enjoying this SQL. That's good. So the next thing I want to do, want to talk about now is yes. So sorry, I want to do some things. So now the select statement. I quickly want to touch on select statement. This is that thing. Everybody should mute their mic. So if I want to write a comment will not run. This is just a comment, it won't run. That's why everything is in blue. It's not going to run. So you can't run it. It's just a comment. That's why it starts with what? An I sign. So now, what is the meaning of the select statement? I have two tables, the first save table and the pet table. So now, if I want to see what is inside my pet table, if I want to see what is inside my pet table, everything, I will say select star from pet. So that's the name of the table. Then I'll close. Then I'll run it. If you want to run, you can easily click on Ctrl Enter. Ctrl Enter to run. So now I'll run that. Enter. I can see my table already. Let's go to the next line. I want to see another thing again. Select star from pet cell. I can see my pet cell, right? Now from this pet cell, I'm not seeing everything. I don't want to see everything. I only want to see the ID column and the profit column. The ID column and the profit column is what I want to see. I don't want to see everything. That's the next thing. Selecting only the ID and profit column. So how do I do that? Select. Because star means everything, I'm not going to be clicking on star because I'm not selecting everything. So what do I need? I need the ID column, comma, then I need the profit column. ID, comma, then the profit column. From which table? You must tell us from which table because we have a lot of tables. So from the pet sale table, then I close it, then I run. So if you see, I have only two columns here. So it's bringing out only two columns for me. Now you might be thinking, why is this? Why do I even need all of this? Now on your database, you have a lot of columns, including columns that are not needed at that moment. Maybe you want to run some analysis, and the database is very large. Assume you are working for MTN now, and you have the data. The data will have a lot of columns, and data is very large. And for your that analysis that you need, You just need like 3 columns to run that analysis. Do you have to import the whole table to Excel to do your analysis? You can do analysis here on SQL. I'm just saying, let's assume we need it on our Excel sheet. So I can just select those 3 columns I need from that what? From that database. So that is what I'm trying to. That's one of the reasons why our database is good and the select statement is effective.
Okay, select is more like what do filtering, right?
Something like that, but not necessarily filtering because there's a way we
Retrieve.
can filter here. But in a case where you want to filter out some columns, you need some columns, then you are going to use select. The reason why I say not necessarily is because even if I don't want to filter and I want to see the whole table, I'm still going to be using the select statement, right? Because if I want to see the whole table, I'm still going to do the select statement. Look at this. Why did I use
It's
the
like
select statement?
retrieve.
So select statement is like the major statement that we use in seeing values or tables inside our database. So now the pest table has animal column, and I only want to see the animal column inside the pest table. What do I do? Select animal, only the animal column. So because I want to see only the animal column, I will say select animal from pet, then I'll close it, then I'll run. Once I run it, you will see from here that I have only the animal column. I have only the animal column. So there is a lot of, we are just starting. So I'm taking it bit by bit, bit by bit. So now, look at what I want to do. Let's go back to our Excel. I want to add, we created our table. We created our table, and this is our table, right? This is our per sale table. Then I want to do something. So I want to insert, and that particular table is already inside our database. Maybe you forgot to add a particular column, and you want to add that column, and that column is a quantity column. I want to add quantity. I want to add the quantity column. Quantity column, yes. I want to add it, that is the quantity that they bought, the quantity of cars that was bought. Maybe 5 and this one 2. I forgot to add it when I was first creating. How do I do that? Is it possible for me to do that? Yes, it is. It is possible. And in cases where maybe you've gotten the unit price and you have a, that occurs a lot. They'll give you the unit price and the quantity. They want you to get the total revenue. How do you do that on SQL? This is the same way you will do that. So what's the first thing you need to tell SQL? The first thing I will tell SQL is that, Mr. Man, Mr. Man, I need you to create a column called quantity because we don't have it before. So I need you to create a column called what? Quantity. So how do I do that? I come to my SQL and I'll tell you that alter table. What is the meaning of alter table? That is this table, this is our table, this is our initial table that we have, this per se table. I want to alter it. What does it mean to alter something? To modify it, to change it. So that's the first thing that you need to tell SQL that I want to alter a table. And what's the name of the table? Per se. I want to alter a table. So, sorry, I said the SQL. The SQL database now would prepare itself to alter the table. So you need to send the command that I need to alter the table. So if you just go to the tab and you just write add column quantity integer and you're adding column, it will not work. You need to tell it that I want to alter table. And what's the name of the table you want to alter? Per se. That's not the end of your statement. Okay, now I want to alter the table. Then what do you want to do? I want to add a column called quantity. and data type is what? Integer. That's the end of your what? Query. That is the end of your query. Alter table, that is, I want to alter it. Which table are we altering? The first cell table. Okay, which type of altering do you want to do? I want to add a column called what? Quantity. And what is the data type of that what? Column? Integer. Once I run this, I have another green. It has worked. So if I come here, don't forget, I have this here. If I come here and run, can you see the quantity column has been created, but there is no value yet. We just created the quantity column. We don't have a value yet. We don't have a value yet. But I've created the quantity column. Add column quantity. And the quantity is what? An integer. Okay, no problem. We've added the column for you. Then you are the one that will not tell SQL or the database again that okay, oh, I want to start adding what? Values inside. I want to start adding values inside. Don't forget, for you to add values, there must be a column called the primary column. That primary column is that column that has value all through and all the values are unique. I'll come again. So now, you know when we're adding the ID column, I put not null, right? Not null. Assume that there is a null value. Okay, no, don't worry, let me continue. So you'll see what I'm trying to say. Let's go and add values inside that quantity column. So now, what do I want to do? I've added the quantity column, right? So I want to start putting values. So I can say update. If I want to update the table, that is, I want to input values, right? I want to start editing the values inside. I want to say, okay, update the first cell, that is that table. Set quantity, the first one. Look at the first one. Set quantity to be equal to 9, where ID is 1. This is where our ID is 1. So anywhere our ID is 1, set the quantity to be equal to what? 9. So that's what we are doing. So the first statement is telling us that update first cell. That is okay. I want to update this table here. So I'm saying set quantity. That is this quantity. Set it to be equal to 9, where the ID is equal to 1. This is the statement that I can run. Let me run it. This one. I can run this one. That's gone. So if I do select star from pet cell now, let's see what our table would do. Can you see? The first one has been added. That 9 has been added. That 9 has been added. But others have not been added. So what do I do? I can just so far everything is a statement. One by one, they are statements. I can what? I can highlight everything and click on this. That's done for everything. And once that's done for everything, so the second one is for where ID is equal to 2. We post quantity to be equal to 3. Where ID is equal to 3, we post quantity to be equal to 2. Where ID is equal to 4, we post quantity to be equal to 6. Where ID is equal to 5, we post quantity to be equal to 24. That's what I said. So if I see my first sale table again, I can run this again. If I run this, all these values have been updated. All these values have been what? Updated. So that's how to what. And this you'll be using a lot. Who has a question? Oh?
I think we just need to learn the words to use, whether it's update or add column.
Yes. I know some people have the question that will I be cramming all of this? Who asked that question?
Sir,
Nobody's answering.
I
Yes?
noticed that in some cases you see capital letter and small letter.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So
I can
now
elaborate on that more.
my SQL we are using is not case sensitive. That is, either you
Okay.
write it in capital letter or small letter, no problem. But that is only when you are dealing with maybe the column or the table name or the functions. But when you are talking about values inside the table, you must be writing it the way it is written inside that table. What do I mean? Let me go back to our Excel. Maybe I'm trying to write all these values now, all these values, right? All these values. I must write it the way they are inside the table. But if I'm talking about the column headers, that is the headers of the column or the column name or the functions that select that from, I can write it in small letters. I can write it anyhow. But you see these values, they must be written the way it is inside that what? Inside that table. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So any other question before we continue? Okay. The next thing I want to do, I want to drop a column. What does it mean? I want to delete a column. That profit column. Look at this profit column. I want to delete it. I want to delete it. When I wanted to add a column, what did I do? I started from alter table, right? So if I want to delete a column too, I will start from what? Alter table. So which table am I going to alter? The pet sale table. I'll alter the pet sale table. And what will I say? Drop column profit. Because I want to what? Delete that profit column. I don't want to see the profit column again. So I'll say alter table, pet sale, then drop column. Drop column means delete it. Drop column. Which column am I dropping? The profit column. If I run this, it has gone. So if I come here and run this, can you see? There's no profit column again. The profit column is gone. Is SQL interesting?
What if we want to do a row, like to delete a row?
We are getting there. We are getting there. We are taking it bit by bit. Do you understand?
It's just because you said column, so column and rows. That
Yes.
was why I asked.
Yes. So, no, any other question before I move on? So now, let me go to the next one. So now, while we were doing our own that time, don't forget, while we were creating the pet sale table, we used this pet table. The data type that we used was variable character, and it was 20, right? Let's assume that what they really wanted was a character, not variable character. What they wanted was a character, and you need to change that what data type. How do we change data type after we've already done it? Is it possible? Yes. How do we do it? How do we do it? So I'll come here and I'll say I still want to alter that person table. But what do I want to do now? And now I will say modify column. modify column. Which column am I modifying? That pet column. No, we have it as variable character before. So I want to change it to a character. Character, yes. I want to change it to character. It was variable character before. Now I want to change it to character. So I will say this is the statement to change what the data type. So now for your subsequent projects that you'll be changing data types or you'll be doing things, it's not like the way you'll be changing it to be different. These are the ways you will use it to change your data type. Just that maybe your table name is not going to be the same thing in that case. Maybe you are dealing with a sales table, and in that case, the name of your table is going to be sales. So if I run this, it has gone. Now it is now what? So far you don't have a red. Yeah, then obviously it has gone. So we've changed our what? We've changed our data type. Then the next thing I want to show you, the next thing I want to show you is to rename a column. To rename a column. How do I rename a column? Now, don't forget, on our pet sale table, we have pet here. If it was an Excel, if I want to rename this, it's just for me to just write what I want to rename it as animal. That's gone. But if I want to rename on SQL, everything na code, oh, we will write am. So how do I rename it? I don't want to use pet again. I want to use animal. How do I do that? It's still going to be alter table, pet sale. For now, it's going to be what? Rename column. Rename column pet to animal. The reason why SQL is kind of interesting is because it's more is the coding is more or less like English language too. So if you are reading an SQL statement, you might easily get what they are trying to say. You might easily get what they are trying to say. So now alter table pet sale, then rename column pet to what? Animal. So if I run that, that's done it for me. That's gone. So if I come back here and I write select star from pet sale. Now I have animal. I have animal now, not pet again. I have animal. So, any question? You're not asking questions now.
We're enjoying it until hands on.
Hmm. Yes, I know. I know it's going to be until hands on. Yeah, I know. But I would want you guys to do this before tomorrow's class. I'll send this script out this night. So I want you to do this before tomorrow's class. And then, see, don't copy and paste. Oh. Hmm. Mm.
So we are
The way
getting
I'm
this one
copying,
this morning.
you are getting. I will send this script. Immediately after this class, this script will be sent to the class. In
Okay.
fact, I'm not sending the script. I won't send the script. I'll just make sure this video is ready tomorrow morning.
The
Before
better,
tomorrow.
better. Then we'll
So
use
I
our
want you to after tomorrow's class I will send out the script. This script that I'm writing. I can send it to you. This script, this particular thing, I can send it to you. So you can open it like this on your own system. You have written it. But now, the problem about this is that you might be thinking, what is difficult in all of this? I can rewrite. The writing is where the problem is. You can write your own and you will
Um,
get errors.
hello, sir.
Yes, ma.
Hello, sir. Yeah, please,
Yes,
what of the database? Will it, I don't know. If we want to run the script now, How do we get the database?
That was where we started from. We started from creating our database.
No, what I'm asking is, now you said, okay, we send the script to us. Okay, so once
Yes.
we create this database,
If I send the
it will be
script to
on
you,
our own
if I
system.
send the
Okay.
script to you, right? If I send the script to you,
Mm,
the script is just there. It's not affecting your database yet. But if you run
okay.
this create database, if you run it on your own system, yeah, obviously it will create the database on the system.
Okay, okay. Okay, then we'll populate it the same way you populated
So
your own.
if you want to create a table called pet sale too, on that same thing, you will come here, you will run it again. If you want to do for the next line, you come here, you just continue running the way I'm running it here. Do you understand?
Yes, yes.
So you just continue running the way I'm running. This is just a script. So now, do I want you to be doing the copy and paste? No. I want you to write it. I'm very sure. Me, I have like 10 greens here. I have green. Look at it, everything is green. I'm very sure by the time you start your own, if you can have 4 greens consecutively, you are trying. Because writing that thing, writing is different. And if you make mistakes while you are writing, it's going to throw an error. And for you to be able to depict where the error is, that's another problem. Some of you will not close the first statement that you wrote. And if you are writing the second one, that first one that you wrote that you didn't close, it will affect it. So there are going to be a lot of mistakes that you will make, which I want you to make, so that you will not make later in the future. You'll be able to correct yourself. So the only problem I'll be having now is to get this video across to you guys. That's the only problem. Um, Now, from the situation of things now, I don't even think the video can be ready tomorrow morning. From the situation of things,
Why?
what I'm using to edit the video, you don't have light. What I'm using to edit the video and do all those things, the
Okay.
battery is dead. Only if there's light.
Okay.
So now, what I can do is I'll just make sure this is ready. I'll try my possible best that this is ready tomorrow. But I don't know what time tomorrow. But it will be ready. Sorry, it will be ready tomorrow. I'm very sure of that. It needs to be ready tomorrow. So, but I'll send this script out. Thank God I have comments. So from the comments you can easily see what I'm trying to do. So I would send out this. So let me see the next thing that we have here before I can say. So now we have to remove all the rows from the table. What does that mean? Let's assume that I want to delete everything, not the table entirely. I want to remove all the rows. What I'm doing is I want to delete all this, but the table is still there. This is the table, the headers. But I want to delete all the values, that is all the rows there. That's what I want to do. That is what I want to do. So how do I do that in SQL? There are some situations that you want to do something like that. How do you do that? We truncate the table. To remove all the rows from the table, we call it what? Truncate table. Pet. Truncate table. Pet. So if I do that and I run it, I'm truncating the pet table and I run this. It has gone. I've truncated it. So now, if I want to see my pet table now, select pets. Sorry, star from pets. Can you see? All the rows are gone, remaining the headers. But what if I want to delete the whole table, including the headers, everything? I want to delete it. How do I delete? I drop table called pets. So if I drop this table called pets now, drop table called pets, it has gone. And if I select everything from pets now, let me do this. Can you see? It's showing an error because it's telling me that the table pet does not exist. So it has deleted it. Can you see? We have an error because I'm saying select star. I've deleted it too, and I'm still saying select star from pet. So it's telling me that the table does not exist. So it has deleted it already. So that is basically, I don't know how I wish I can send this thing this night.
So, but you can send it. You just copy and paste the script first. Still okay.
This, no, the script is not the issue. I'm talking about the video.
Mm.
The video is the main thing. No, if I send the script to you, what you just have to do now is you just come here and be pressing control, enter control, enter control, enter control, enter.
Okay, 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 okay. I
You
get it.
understand? You're not writing again.
Yeah, yeah.
You just be writing, and if you are following the video, you know you are looking at the video, you are writing it.
Mm. Yes.
And some people will just want to say, Shebi is just to write, I will write it now. Let me just be pressing control enter, let me see if it will work. And you just feel okay, this is it. And that was the same thing that happened to me too. Writing it is different from copying and pasting. Me, I've written it already. I've written it here. So that's why I'm doing it like this for you in class. I don't want to go through the stress of writing again. If I started writing from the beginning, let's say I'm writing, this green that I'm having here, I will not have the green like this one. Because there will be a mistake. Just like writing notes, you make a mistake somewhere too. So I don't know. That's basically I would this that's the end of this class. Yes. If you have any question, let me stop the recording. So I need to know if you have a question.
Sorry.